The wheels of the carriage creaked as it rolled through the thick mud path leading to Grimhollow. Eleanor Hartley, a 22-year-old scholar from London, stared out of the small window as the mist wrapped around the trees like pale arms reaching toward the sky. She had come to the village to document old folk legends for her university, but something about Grimhollow felt heavier than just history. An old man greeted her at the edge of the village. He wore a tattered coat and had one eye clouded white. "You shouldn't be here, miss. Grimhollow doesn't welcome strangers, especially not in autumn." She smiled nervously, brushing her auburn hair behind her ear. "I'm just here to study your traditions. I'll be gone before the first frost." The man's face grew stiff. "Just don't go near the bell tower. And for heaven's sake, don't ask why it's silent." Eleanor settled into the dusty inn run by a stern widow named Mrs. Fenwick. That night, she heard whispers outside her window, even though her room faced the empty village square. When she asked Mrs. Fenwick about the bell tower at breakfast, the innkeeper dropped her teacup. "That tower hasn't rung since the Harvest Massacre. Best not to speak of it." Of course, Eleanor's curiosity only grew. Later that day, she found the old church. Vines had choked the stones, and the door was bolted with chains. Yet she heard the faintest clink of metal inside, like something pacing. Inside the village library, which looked more like a mausoleum of forgotten words, Eleanor uncovered a dusty journal written in 1850 by a Reverend Ashcroft. It spoke of the bell-keeper, a spirit bound by grief and rage. The bells stopped after the villagers sacrificed him in fear. On the final page, "Do not let the bells toll. The sound awakens the bound one." That night, Eleanor dreamt of bells ringing in slow motion, echoing across the village. When she woke, her window was open, and a muddy handprint was on the inside. At the edge of the forest, Eleanor met a man, tall, pale, wearing a long coat and hat. He introduced himself as Thomas Vane, a traveller who once lived in Grimhollow. "I heard the bells in my sleep. They're calling people back." He told her his sister disappeared in 1849 after touching the bells. He begged Eleanor to leave. "There's a curse bound to sound. Once awakened, it doesn't stop." She didn't listen. They decided to investigate the bell tower together, and just before they left, Mrs. Fenwick handed Eleanor a small cracked mirror. "You'll need this. The bell-keeper doesn't like to see himself." The lock snapped open as though it had waited for her. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. The staircase wound upward forever. On the walls, scratch marks, names carved in blood. A heavy rope dangled in the middle of the room like a noose. At the top, the bells were wrapped in black cloth. Thomas stepped forward, but Eleanor froze. She saw something, someone crawling along the ceiling. A gaunt face, hollow eyes, no lips, just teeth. It grinned. "You came to ring them, but the bells ring you." Thomas was taken, pulled screaming into the shadows. Eleanor ran down the stairs, mirror in hand. She held it up just as the bellkeeper lunged at her. Its reflection screamed and vanished. But the bells tolled once. The sound echoed not just in Grimhollow, but across the surrounding lands. And slowly, in graveyards far beyond the village, something began to stir. Eleanor survived, but her hair turned white that day. She never spoke of what she saw, only that the bells must never ring again. After escaping the tower, Eleanor flees to the inn, only to find it deserted, chairs overturned, teacups shattered. blood smeared across the hallway. Outside, the entire village is silent. Too silent. She turns and sees them. Villagers, old and young, eyes blank, skin pale, walking slowly from every direction. Their bodies move, but their mouths chant in unison. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Thomas, or what's left of him, walks among them. Cornered, Eleanor runs to the church again. This time the mirror glows violently. She sees visions in its surface, past sacrifices, the first bell ringer bound in chains, a young girl burned alive. The bell keeper appears, not in the mirror, but in the real world, massive, deformed, with a face stitched together from victims. Eleanor smashes the mirror. The bell keeper screams, but instead of vanishing, he begins to absorb the spirits of the dead around him. You broke the seal. Now all must toll. With no way out, Eleanor climbs the tower once again. This time, she pulls the cloth off the largest bell. You want the sound? Then take it. She yanks the rope. The bell rings, but not like a normal toll. It screeches like a banshee, and the villagers outside collapse one by one, their souls released. The bell keeper disintegrates, sucked back into the bell itself. But the sound doesn't stop. Eleanor stares in horror as her own hands begin to age, her hair whitening faster. The bell has claimed her. Years pass. A new traveller visits Grimhollow, now overgrown and seemingly abandoned. Inside the church, he finds the bell tower door slightly ajar, and carved on the wall near the rope, with long, desperate scratches. Do not ring, the sound never dies. A white-haired figure sits silently in the shadows above, watching. Eleanor, the new bell keeper,